In 1979, a group of large granite tablets were anonymously erected in Georgia. These tablets are known as the Georgia Guidestones, and are inscribed with various New Age messages in various languages. The Georgia Guidestones call for humanity to reduce its population to 500 million people, 1/12 of the current world population, in perpetual balance with nature. The pseudonym, R.C. Christian, takes responsibility for the structure, which was more than likely created by a sect known as the Rosicrucians. The creator of the Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, was closely associated with Rosicrucianism. In 1981, a Freemasonic lodge in Italy known as P2 was exposed. P2 had many of the most powerful men in Italy amongst its members, and it was found to be engaging in a conspiracy to covertly overthrow the government of Italy, to create its own fascist state. P2 was also connected to a CIA operation known as Gladio, which used false flag terror attacks in its strategy of tension. Vatican and Mafia officials were P2 members, and they both did business through a banker named Roberto Calvi, who was also a P2 member. Roberto Calvi was murdered amidst the scandal, while the bank that he was chairman of collapsed. Freemasonry is itself administered by British royalty. George W. Bush's father, George H. Bush, is a Skull and Bones member, and is a former director of the CIA. When George H. Bush was vice president under Ronald Reagan, then George H. Bush oversaw the brutal foreign policies of the United States within South America, while the CIA also smuggled tons of cocaine out of South America and into the United States. The CIA flew tons of cocaine into Minot, Arkansas, while then Governor Bill Clinton was responsible for approving the state loans that laundered the drug money involved. Bill Clinton was also responsible for the complete suppression of all investigations into the Minot drug smuggling operation, also suppressing investigations after 2 young boys were mysteriously murdered next to the airport at Minot. This CIA drug smuggling operation also flew weapons back into South America, and one of these airplanes crashed in Nicaragua. The sole survivor of that crash confessed to being part of an illegal operation to arm and resupply Nicaraguan Contra fighters, and a scandal that became known as Iran-Contra ensued, since the CIA was also illegally dealing arms with the government of Iran in exchange for hostages. During the congressional hearings into Iran-Contra, questions concerning if secret government plan for martial law procedures emerged. This plan was known as Rex 84, and it had prison camps built all over the United States, to be operated by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, in the event of martial law being declared in the United States. Associated plans known as Garden Plot and Cable Splicer also exist, for the respective purposes of emergency population and government control. In 1989, George H. Bush was implicated as part of a criminal sex ring that involved underage male prostitutes visiting the White House late at night. A Republican lobbyist named Craig J. Spence was under investigation for running the Washington sex ring that delivered these prostitutes, and Craig J. Spence was found dead from an alleged suicide before he could ever stand trial. A high-level Republican named Lawrence E. King was supplying children for this criminal sex ring, and Lawrence E. King received these children from a Catholic orphanage in Nebraska called Boys Town, while Boys Town was a client of Lawrence E. King's disgraced credit union, Franklin Trust. Federal and state officials turned the investigation and prosecution against the child rape victims, and America's corporate media also participated in the re-victimization and complete media blackout against these children. This criminal sex ring had also used its victims as drug couriers, and victims also reported involvement in a CIA brainwashing project that has come to be known as Monarch. One of these victims had also described being forced to rape an even younger child, and then witnessed this younger child being murdered. This victim also claimed that he was forced to violate the younger child's corpse, while everything was recorded on videotape. This child rape murder incident reportedly occurred in a wooded area in California, similar in description to the Bohemian Grove. The Bohemian Grove is a male-only encampment, where the most powerful men in America engage in secret rituals every year. The club employs multitudes of male prostitutes, and every year the cremation of care ceremony takes place. During the cremation of care, prominent Bohemian Grove members cover themselves in hooded robes, while they perform a mock child sacrifice to a giant statue of an owl. The Bohemian Grove Club was originally founded on Jesuit land near San Francisco, and Saint John of Nepomuc is the patron saint of Bohemian Grove. A large wooden statue of Saint John is present at Bohemian Grove as well. The Bush family holds prominent membership. In 1990,